Hello, and welcome to the Muncy Public Library's presentation on combating fake news with the C.R.A.A.P test. In this short video, we will cover the definition of fake news and how to use the C.R.A.A.P test to validate or invalidate a source. Let's get started. Once you have completed this short digital program, we hope that you will be able to use the C.R.A.A.P test effectively to evaluate news and media sources for validity. This program is a PA Forward Information Literacy Program. The PA Forward program is an initiative by the Pennsylvania Library Association to promote 5 literacies: basic, information, civic and social, health, and financial. By promoting these literacies, we can improve the lives of Pennsylvania's residents. This digital program will help you learn to distinguish between credible and non-credible sources, putting this into the definition of information literacy. Within the PA Forward program, the Muncy Public Library is a Gold Star library. This means that we have went above and beyond to help to educate and inform our patrons on the 5 literacies. For more information on the PA Forward program, please visit paforward.org. The first step in combating fake news is to define fake news. We need to know what we are dealing with before we can fight it. Fake news is defined as false stories that appear to be news, spread on the internet or using other media, usually created to influence political views or as a joke. You've probably come across fake news while scrolling through Facebook or the internet. In some instances, fake news is meant to generate revenue. The writer wants to draw you in with emotion-filled titles to take you to a page that will generate ad revenue for the writer. These articles are known as clickbait, or articles, photographs, etc. on the internet that are intended to attract attention and encourage people to click on links to particular websites. Not all clickbait is fake news, but these fake stories can sometimes draw in more readers than a true story. We should also be sure to know the difference between misinformation, definition 1, and disinformation. Misinformation is information that is wrong, not necessarily because of fake news. People just seem to be misinformed if they suffer from misinformation. However, disinformation occurs when false information is spread in order to deceive people. This here is fake news. The final definition provided is for post-truth. Post-truth is relating to a situation in which people are more likely to accept an argument based on their emotions and beliefs, rather than one based on facts. This falls in line with the psychology term confirmation bias. Confirmation bias states that we are more likely to view news and information that supports our current paradigm. That is, if we believe the earth is flat, we will look at evidence for that topic and not bother looking at sources that may say the earth is round. Therefore, we should strive to consider many sources and many points of view when analyzing information. For this activity, I would like for you to look at these 8 headlines and decide which ones are true and which ones are false. Please pause the video now and resume once you have determined which headlines are true and which are false. The first 6 headlines were fake, while the last 2 headlines were true. This exercise demonstrates how hard it is to determine the nature of an article just by a headline. When we share articles on Facebook, it will usually only show the title and an image from the source. Many people will not click on or read the source that they see the headline for, and they will just take the headline as fact. This is why we must stop and think before we share. Now that we know a little bit about what fake news is, we are ready to combat it. One method commonly taught to combat fake news is known as the C.R.A.A.P test. C.R.A.A.P stands for currency, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose. The concept was developed by Sarah Blakesley and her colleagues at California State University, Chico. We will now cover each of these 5 ideas briefly. When we think about the currency of an article, we want to know when it was published and when it was last updated. We do not want to read an article just to find out that it is all old news and no longer applicable. How current your source needs to be depends on you. 1 week? 1 year? 5 years? It depends on what you are researching. When we discuss relevance, we want to know who the source's intended audience is. We also want to see if the source will answer a question we have or provide us with new insight. The authority of an article can be assessed by looking at the author's job and credentials. We also need to look at who is publishing the source. Analyze the URL at the top of the page. Some fake news sites will trick you by having a domain that looks like a real news station. For instance, they may take HuffPost.com, the Huffington Post website, and change the O in post to be a 0. That way it looks like a real news site but is a phony. You can also look at the author and ask if they are a primary source or not. A primary source is one that has witnessed the event. You should also ask yourself if the author is an expert on what they are writing about. The next point to consider is accuracy. What supporting evidence is provided? Are any sources cited in the article? If you go to the cited sources, are they legit documents? Has your source been run through its fact checkers such as Snopes.com? If so, what does Snopes say about the article in question? The final point is purpose. We need to ask why this source was created. What is its purpose? Is it meant to inform? Is it meant to harm? Is it meant to change your opinion? Is it biased or showing only one side? These 5 points make up the C.R.A.A.P test. Next, we will look at a sample article through a critical lens. The article we will be analyzing was titled, "Missouri Could Jail Librarians for Lending Age-Inappropriate Books." It was written by Allison Flood, a reporter for The Guardian, on January 16, 2020. We will now use the C.R.A.A.P test to determine the validity and usefulness of this document. Is it current? Well, no, it is not. It is over a year old at the time of this presentation. This article mentions a bill that was proposed. It could have been signed into law or dismissed by now, making the information in this article no longer relevant. Is the article relevant? It highlights a topic that could affect patrons and librarians in Missouri. If you are interested in library advocacy, then this article would be relevant to you. Does the paper have authority? It was written by a reporter for The Guardian, a trusted news source. The article also links to a Missouri bill. Is it accurate? Snopes.com reports this article as true. Finally, the purpose is to inform. So our final analysis would show that we can trust this source. However, it may not be the most current or up-to-date information on the status of the bill. Thank you so much for joining us today for this virtual program. Be sure to check out some of the books we have on fake news. To view more titles on fake news, be sure to go to our catalog at muncylibrary.com and search fake news. Displayed here are just a handful of titles available to you through the Lycoming County Library System. While we do not hold all these books at the Muncy Public Library, you can place a hold on them so you can pick them up at the Muncy Public Library. Thank you again for tuning in, and remember to always C.R.A.A.P before you share.